Hello, welcome to Co-Creating with Cosmic Holly. Today I am speaking about the Libra first quarter moon happening on July 2nd, 2025 at 7 degrees 25 minutes Libra. So first off, this moon is connected to the new moon that happened a week ago on I think it was the 25th of June. It was a Cancer moon. And when we get to the quarter moon cycle, the moon is squaring where it was a week ago. So it's squaring that new moon, and we might be starting to feel a desire to take action. During the first quarter moon cycle, we start to see what the seeds we planted, the intentions we planted during the new moon, we start to see what is starting to grow. So now we are in a position of observing, deciding maybe what it is maybe we don't want to have. We can weed those things out, and what we're going to continue focusing on and nurturing. If we want something to grow, we need to nurture it, right? We need to water it, we need to feed it, we need to keep giving it attention. Libra is a sign that is the scales. So there's judgment. It's connected to judgment. It's connected to finding balance. Libra likes to find balance, and there's always an other and a fulcrum. So it's not just two, it's three. It's like your experience with something else and the relationship becomes a third thing. It's like a nice triangle, right? If you think about scales, they're a triangle. So we may be experiencing like assessing, how am I relating to my environment? How am I relating to this person? What do I want to nurture regarding blank? Regarding whatever intentions I put out. Am I nurturing those things? And so you're assessing, It's also connected to the Libra new moon from 9 months ago. This is a gestational cycle. And it happens, that Libra new moon happened on October 2nd, 2024. It was a solar eclipse. So when we experience a solar eclipse, this particular solar eclipse was a leaving eclipse. It was the last Libra eclipse we were going to experience for 9 years. So there may have been something that left your life. Or you may have realized something was on its way out. I like to look back from 9 months ago, looking at whatever intentions I made, or looking at a journal, or looking at photos I've taken, or for me, I have a pretty regular blog posting that I do. So I just look at what was going on, and I journal all the time. So I can go back and look. Now, that particular new moon will always stand out for me, because that's the day my mom died. And it's really interesting because gosh, I'm still thinking about like how to put things into words regarding her experience, regarding the experience of sort of helping her let go. One of the things that when I think of Libra, I think of art, I think of music, I think of beauty, and my mother lost the ability to speak in the end, but those last few days of her life, like she still made sounds. So I started to communicate with her like through sounds. I promised her I would be present with her, and I did the best I could, and so she would make sounds, and we just there ended up being music. We ended up turning whatever she was able to do into a song. And I may share that at some point. I recorded some of it. It was really remarkable. But because the October 2nd new moon was so significant in my life, I actually looked up I looked up the intentions that I made that morning before she passed, and like I'm just going to give you an example of an intention. When you make an intention, the thing is, you want to make an intention, you want to set the intention as if it's already happened, and then let it go, right? So I wrote, I allow creativity, love, joy, and curiosity to inform my life, my relationships, and my work. And so 9 months later, I look at that and I go, am I doing that? Do I want to continue doing that? And that gives me, it sort of kind of helps me to see, am I staying on track, or am I making a total pivot in my, what do I want to continue doing? I'm just kind of skipping around. So let me see. I think that's good. So just saying I am is a great way to make an intention as if it's already happened. Now the other thing that's happening this week is that, so this may be something that creates a pivot, what I'm going to say. Uranus is moving from Taurus into Gemini on July 7th. And Uranus is a planet that we experience things sort of out of left field with Uranus. And so we're going to start to experience, I think, a broader sense of our reality in a new way. Like, it's been in Taurus for the last seven or 8 years, and now it's moving into Gemini. Taurus is a very slow, kind of deliberate sign, and Uranus is like lightning striking. And so that lightning can be like something that just explodes everything. And Taurus really doesn't do well with that kind of change. Like, the change can be very dramatic and very quick. Gemini, on the other hand, is air, just like Libra, and is very quick and electric, and that energy that Uranus brings, which is very electric, I think kind of flows well with Gemini. Like we can start seeing sweeping changes in like communication, in education, in anything that has to do with maybe even our neighborhoods. Gemini is is sort of like another sort of child of the zodiac, very social, kind of liking to see what's going on in the neighborhood. It's connected to short travel, so there may be some changes in the way we get around, but we'll see. And that is some energy that might be kind of also feeling like a little bit like it's nudging the change, or nudging the, like during that quarter moon, our first quarter moons, it's a square to the moon that happened either a week ago or 9 months ago. There is energy that kind of, it's a friction that gets you to actually make a change. Whereas Uranus is just like there's a lot of change in the air. So this week may feel like, you might be feeling like the information you're receiving at this quarter moon time is something that's really like nudging you to really make a move, to make a change. Libra likes to try to keep things balanced. We'll see how the Uranus moving into Gemini lets that balance remain. I would suggest checking out Pam Gregory or Levine. There are so many astrologers are talking about Uranus into Gemini because it happens every 7 or 8 years, so that it moves signs. So there's a lot out there about that. I want to focus on the moon, but I can't help myself. I always end up talking about other planets. So while I've been talking about this moon and other cosmic happenings, I've been shuffling the cards this whole time, and they are. I'm waiting for one to sort of pop out, and should be happening soon. All right, I'm just gonna pick one, and woo! Got the 9 of Swords. Is that 9? Yeah, it's the 9 of Swords. So this is one of those cards that, like, this guy's got his own sword in his hand. He's got one sword in his hand, and he's kind of like, whoa, with 8 other swords hanging there. Yeah, that's 8 swords hanging over his head. In the Rider-Waite deck, you see someone sitting up in bed with swords over their head. You see? This is an anxiety. This is anxiety for sure. And then you see this guy is underneath all these swords. He's got one sword in his hand. So if he kind of just moves out from underneath the swords that are hanging there, he's left with one sword. That sword is his. That's the one he should be concerned with. It doesn't look like he's in a room that's enclosed. It looks like if he moves to either the left or the right of the card, he won't have these swords hanging over his head. So there's a lot going on in the world right now. I don't have to, it's like we're all aware of it. If we're alive, we understand. There's a lot of crazy crap going on. A lot of bad stuff happening, actually. And there's only so much one person can do. So this guy's got one sword, And he's like, like these swords are, they're just hanging there. They're not, it's not another person fighting with him. These swords are just hanging in the ceiling. And he's like, whoa, shit. Like, I gotta do, like, there's this one, and there's this one, and there's this one. Okay, so like, you open up your social media and it's like, oh my God, you know, like this new law, or oh my God, that person got kidnapped. Fuck, oh, holy shit, you know, like, and bombs in Iran, you know, like, that is the kind of stuff that we are, it's real, and we're bombarded with it constantly, but we can only deal with one thing at a time. Some of these things are low enough, you know, these swords are hanging low enough that if he stands up straight, he's gonna get hit in the head, right? Or somewhere on his body. Ah, man. But he's got one sword in his hand, and that's the one sword that he has any control over at the moment. And so I feel like the Nine of Swords is this moment where we can either be like running around trying to figure out how to fix everything, or we can stop and assess and go, all right, those things exist, but I've got one sword in my hand right now, and that's my thought. That the swords have to do with thinking and communication. So it's like, what can I do with what I have? What, and then also, what is mine and what is somebody else's stuff? These swords are not flying, they're hanging. You know, it's like, yeah, they're a hazard. But which ones are yours, and which ones are what people are feeding you, or what people are throwing at you, or what people are dangling? I almost feel like, in a sense, these days, that like this could even represent, like, you know, just getting bombarded, like walking into, opening up social media and being bombarded by everything, and feeling like you got, and then you're and full of anxiety, and you know that you need to shut your phone or whatever you use to look at social media, but you don't. And after a while, you just feel like, oh my God, like, I feel crushed, or I feel like the weight of the world is like on my head. That's this card. The thing here is to slow down and note what is yours. Note that there is one sword right now that you're dealing with. And then, if you choose, you can look at each one of those swords one at a time and take action. Or the sword that you already have, like, let that be the thing that you take action with, or that inspires you. If we change the swords to thoughts and ideas, as I was saying before, nurture the one that's yours. With the understanding that there's a collective, but you've got your feet on the ground while all the other ones are dangling. So let yourself become grounded with your own ideas, your own thoughts, before you try to jump into the collective of ideas and thoughts and anxieties and fears. Can you sit with yourself without the distraction of 8 things hanging over your head? Allow yourself to be grounded and centered. Allow yourself to experience your own ideas, your own way of communicating. And give yourself a chance to give yourself give yourself time every day to sit with yourself. I'd say this is like a really good time to practice breathing. Swords are air, Libra's air, Gemini's air. Paying attention to the breath, right? Taking a few minutes to close your eyes, lengthen your spine, let yourself be a conduit to heaven and earth. Ask for guidance and act accordingly. And then you can be effective with all the things that are happening in the world in a way that's not so erratic, anxious, fearful. Find your center, then take action. All right. I hope that was helpful. If you'd like to get a reading with me, you can go to holly-troy.com/tarot to book a reading. Anyway, have a wonderful week. Take the time to look at what intentions or what you were working on last week. And take the time to see what you were doing 9 months ago during the lunar eclipse on October 2nd, and see if you can integrate the work or the intentions into what it is you're experiencing now in order to move forward. You know, this is a time where, you know, when you're taking a few minutes to meditate, focus on the breath, and choose what it is you would like to focus on in order to be in relationship with the world around you, with your environment, with the information you're receiving, and, with what's happening. And of course, with any significant others in your life. I hope that helps. Namaste.